Doors is a game absolutely loaded with rare events, from a crucifix spawning naturally to encountering a glitch fragment completely in the wild. However, this also means that theoretically, it's possible to encounter these events in a certain way to exponentially boost their rarity, creating outcomes that are theoretically possible to encounter, albeit almost impossible to ever witness in-game. Today, I want to go over a handful of these theoretically possible events indoors, going through the rarest of the rare things you can ever find in this game. We have got a lot to discuss today, so with all of that being said, let's begin. Alright, so starting off relatively rare, but a lot more common than the other events on this list, we have getting all zeros on a library code. Essentially, each slot of the library code can be one of 10 different numbers, meaning the chance of each slot being the same number is 1 in 100,000. This isn't just limited to the number 0 though, but to all outcomes where the library code contains all of the same number. This calculation also applies to every single other possible code in the game, as each and every single unique one has a 1 in 100,000 chance of appearing, meaning they are all equally as rare as each other. However, I think it is cooler to single out codes like ones that contain all of a single number, hence why I put it on this list. Moving on, another relatively common event would be encountering 10 of the same painting in a single room. There are currently 60 different paintings that can spawn in the hotel. It used to actually be more, however, since then, they've removed a bunch. Anyways, that means that each type of painting only has a 1 in 60 chance of appearing naturally. Finding a room that contains 10 paintings, all of which depict the exact same picture, is 1 in 60 to the power of 10, or 1 in 6.04 times 10 to the power of 17. That's a 6 followed by 17 zeros, so it's definitely an incredibly rare occurrence to witness. Getting a tad bit rarer though, we have finding the entire library desk stocked completely full of naturally spawned glitch fragments. Although many of you know that glitch fragments can be forced to spawn by summoning glitch a handful of times, they also have an estimated 1 in 10,000 chance to spawn completely naturally in any container. The library desk is the single largest container in the game, housing 8 cabinets which can all contain a single item. For the library desk to have all 8 of those cabinets filled with a naturally spawned glitch fragment, you'd need to encounter a 1 in 10,000 chance event 8 times in a row, meaning this occurrence has a 1 in 10 to the 32 chance of appearing in-game. That is a 1 followed by 32 zeros. Now, that was just the most common of the rare occurrences. Now, we are getting into truly impossible events. Stuff that, although could technically happen, is pretty much never going to be witnessed by anyone. Starting off, we have finding a crucifix above all 100 door frames in the hotel. As you probably know, there's a very rare chance for a crucifix to spawn on top of a door frame within the hotel, with that exact chance being 1 in 233. To have a crucifix appear above all 100 doors within the hotel, we would need to encounter that 1 in 233 chance a whopping 100 times in a row. That makes the total chance of witnessing this occurrence 1 in 5.44 times 10 to the 236 power. A 5 followed by a whopping 236 zeros. For the last of the common, insanely rare events, we have encountering eyes in every single room of both the hotel and the mines. Essentially, the chance for an individual ice entity to spawn is 1 in 33, meaning on average you should find 3 in a single round, excluding areas such as the greenhouse where the spawn chances are boosted. I am excluding boosted spawn chances in this calculation, such as in areas of the greenhouse, to make this all simpler, so just keep that in mind when I reveal the final number. Anyways, this means that theoretically, it's possible to find eyes completely naturally in every single room of both floors, resulting in you having to encounter a 1 in 33 chance 200 times in a row. The exact rarity of such an event is 1 in 5.04 times 10 to the 303 power, a 5 followed by 303 zeros. At this point, we have reached the final extraordinarily rare event with a definitive value for its chance of occurrence. The next following events are so astronomically impossible to ever witness that my calculator can't even determine an exact value for its rarity due to how high the denominator is. As you may know, every time you click play again after dying, there's an incredibly rare chance that an image of Seek and Drip clothes flashes on your screen. An exploiter actually managed to find exactly how rare this thing is, and apparently it is 1 in 8,000. So here's the twist. In order to actually have a chance of seeing this image of Drip Seek, you have to die, as that way you can click the play again button. There are badges you can obtain for dying a certain amount of times, with the most notable being 100 of Many, an achievement for dying a whopping 100 times. Theoretically, it's possible that some hypothetical player could have encountered Drip Seek for each and every single one of those 100 deaths needed for the badge. For this to occur, the hypothetical player would have to encounter a 1 in 8,000 chance 100 times in a row, which has a 1 in 8,000 to the power of 100 chance of occurring. Yeah, like I said, I can't come up with an exact number of this event, and all the following ones, and it only gets crazier from here. Now, we have come to the final theoretical event indoors, the rarest of the rarest, and it's similar to the Eyes one where you have to encounter an entity in every single room of both the floors. However, instead of finding Eyes, it would have to be Jack. As you may know, Jack has a 1 in 2,000 chance of spawning in every single room within the game, meaning the chance of encountering them in all 200 doors is 1 in 2,000 to the power of 200. This is by far the rarest event I've mentioned, and it's so statistically impossible to find, it'd literally take uncountable amounts of lifetimes just to get close to ever witnessing it. I would also like to mention that this statistic remains the same for encountering Shadow in every single room within both of the game's floors, as Shadow and Jack have the exact same spawn chance, they just look a little different and function slightly differently. I hope this gave you a little snapshot into the true absurdity of just how rare events in this game can become. Before I end this video though, I just want to give a big thanks to the YouTuber SpeedTV, whose video series documenting theoretically possible events in Five Nights at Freddy's inspired this video, where I do the same except it's indoors. Wow, I'm so original. So, thanks dude for the idea. So, with all of that being said, let me know in the comments what you think of these incredibly rare events, as well as if you came up with any of your own impossible rare occurrences within doors which you'd like to share, as I'd love to learn more about what you guys have to say regarding this topic, as I find incredibly rare stuff in video games highly interesting. And thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.